Welcome back, YouTubers, to another TNA Impact Wrestling review. Once again, for about the 100th time, with us, the British Fist.
Coaching.
Mr. Parkin here. This guy sitting next to me is none other than N to the J, NJ.
What's up?
Some Americans may see you as New Jersey, but I see you as NJ, of course. Subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts you have on this TNA Impact Wrestling show down in that comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Indeed. So this was the they taped two shows. This is the first show we've had for some time that wasn't live. I must admit, I do miss the live shows already. I mean, I know that they've only taped two shows and they're going to be live until what, the Christmas period or something like that. But man, I miss the live shows already.
I'm a bit curious of why they're doing tape shows when they could have just kept going live like they said they would.
Probably something like, I don't know. No idea, I don't know. But it seemed like, this to me seemed like a show that kind of broke away a little bit from the general norm from TNA's booking standpoint, and they were kind of going a little bit more for ratings because the ratings have been terrible lately. So I think this show was more garnered towards ratings, so that's just my opinion.
And some things in this show, yeah, they're really going to give us ratings.
Well, you never know. We won't know till the ratings come out, NJ. We don't know till the mainstream people tell us what they thought of the show, but there we go. So we opened up this edition of TNA Impact Wrestling with a toast by James Storm. Do you want a toast of your monster, NJ?
Oh, yes.
I'll give you a toast. Indeed, thanks for the toast. He did it, guys! He became the #1 contender! He thanked the fans, he thanked his family, and he thanked the people who said he couldn't do it, like NJ did earlier.
Yeah, I was looking and thinking, James Storm, you know what? Every time you think you're going to reach for that gold plate, or silver plate, whatever they call it, something bad happens.
Yeah, and the theme kind of continues tonight, spoiler alert. Then out comes Bobby Roode with 2 beers, basically saying, well done for achieving this, but you basically did it because of my hard work, and I felt this segment was very strong. I mean, obviously these two generally have good promo segments together, so a nice strong segment. Only went about sort of 8 to 10 minutes. Storm ends the segment on top. We get the fact that Roode says he's done with Storm unless he puts up his #1 contendership, and we get our main event of the evening, which is Bobby Roode versus James Storm for the #1 contendership.
And the thing about Roode is when he comes out, you know, something's going to go down, because you know this feud's going to continue, especially after the pay-per-view, because they did a very good job showing some tease, especially when AJ was knocked out the match and it was only Roode and Storm there. And the way these two went on mic, oh my god, good opener, quick opener, gave us the main event and gave us the future of this build to the next pay-per-view.
Oh god, we will get onto that one in the main event, so stick around for that, people. In the next segment we have Rob Van Dam, whatever you want to call him, versus Kid Cash for the X Division Championship.
Woo!
Why does Kid Cash get a title shot?
Because
he's down in OVW right now.
Because
no, he won. No, he didn't win.
See, there's no possible reason why TNA think, I know what we'll do. This guy, Kid Cash, is going to get a random match just because he's Kid Cash. There you go.
RVD gets the victory. It's kind of like random filler, no real direction for the X Division.
The thing is, someone should have came out like Matt Morgan. Where was he? Joey Ryan. Where was he? So to be honest, they could have done more to this. They give us a random match, but whatever.
Jesse Goddard with Terror versus Eric Young with ODB. Great. Jesse Goddard versus Eric Young. I bet the casual fans were looking forward to this one. Yeah, so we get to the match itself. Don't really want to talk about it too much because Eric Young did his usual stick, took off his pants, and oh god, Taz summed it up best. We don't want to see that. God damn.
The thing is, the only good thing I like about this match is that when he came back from his disappearance, probably in Hollywood, he thinks he's out, probably in one of his daydreams or something, he loses his match.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about this match was, like, Jesse Goddard's, or Mr. Spectacular's own little cheerleader high school version of the Stunner where he goes, ah! It's just that version of a Stunner. Fucking hell. Yeah, so really didn't care for that one, but I bet the casual fans did. Surprised it wasn't our main event. We got a segment with Joseph Park, and apparently he's going to wrestling school! I hope we get vignettes of him at wrestling school. That'd be pretty funny.
Good luck, Joseph Park, even though I don't really think you need this teaching, because you are pretty good, especially when you get a blood appearance, so I don't think you really need it. But if it's to get you on TV without wrestling, because Hogan doesn't think you're able to wrestle for TNA, go for it.
Hey, if Garrett Bischoff can make it, so can Joseph Park. That's all I can say. Yeah, we're going to talk about Garrett Bischoff in a minute, NJ. We were supposed to have a TV title match between Samoa Joe and Magnus, but again after the pay-per-view that we'd just seen it. Thankfully, we didn't see this match. What we saw instead was Aces and Eights attacking Magnus with a hammer on both of his knees, and Doc is really making a statement for the Aces and Eights after earlier on they kind of questioned his position in the group.
Because that's the two things I want to say is, number one, after Joe beat Magnus, even in a no DQ match, okay, why does he get a random rematch the following TNA show? Yeah. Doesn't make any sense, but there you go, you can have it.
It didn't happen, so...
But still, they still lined up, they still were going to make it happen if this didn't happen. And Doc getting questioned, even though at the pay-per-view he did a pretty strong job. Yes, he almost lost, but at the same time he did do a strong job. He did take out Sting, so the questioning him was a little bit off. But this, especially when it was Devon as well who did the hard work as well, it made up for it, and it took out Magnus, who probably will come back and get a rematch again.
It will be a way of writing him off TV, maybe returning him as a babyface. But it's funny how Doc gets questioned for his mask coming off of being in the group, but yet Devon got unmasked, yet he isn't being questioned for being in the group. Because he's Devon Testify, I guess. And apparently TNA are quite high on Luke Gallows. Do you see Luke Gallows going any further in TNA?
At the moment, with WWE failing him, because all he really had was the straight edge and then the dong and all that stuff. If TNA, like they could do with Matt Morgan, like they could do with Bubba Ray, like they could do with Anderson, like they could do with RVD, they can make them important. So I think with Luke Gallows, especially if this 8-8 thing does grow, because at the minute they're slopping it a bit. But if they keep making it grow, I think Luke Gallows could have a chance.
The thing is with TNA's main event scene is they generally feature either old guys or sort of smallish guys, and so I think Luke Gallows could be something different in the main event, like Matt Morgan, for example. So we'll see how Luke Gallows goes. I don't mind seeing Luke Gallows maybe see him push a little bit, just see what the guy can do. Just a different kind of performer in the company.
TNA are good at pushing, so I'll say good luck. Why the hell are the members of the Ace and Eights taking out Doc for my faction? When it was Doc who did the hard work tonight, he took out Magnus. When Devon thought he was failing me once again, yes, he tried to join in the entertainment that we provided tonight, but he's absolutely worthless and not worthy of the Ace and Eights. I hope following Turning Point, Terminator NJ's not here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced his wrath so many times on the NXT review. I'm just getting so tired of it now.
It really is worrying of what he's going to do next, if it's going to happen to us or some other mortal around us, doesn't it say?
Yes, indeed it is. I just don't really want to see the repercussions of what he's going to do at any point in time.
Because the fact that you've got Bray Wyatt back, his anger's still going to be rising high, especially on TNA's members.
Hang on, you can read my mind.
I can read yours too.
Cool. Oh yeah, sorry, we were doing the review, weren't we? Garrett Bischoff and Kurt Angle versus Devon and Armbreaker was next. We had that segment on earlier in the night when Angle didn't pick Wes Briscoe, he instead picked Garrett Bischoff, and we thought they might do something with that there. Surely Wes Briscoe is part of the Aces and Eights now. You kind of get the feeling he's a member of the group.
Well, without spoiling too much, there was some doubt in that, but with a new name in TNA who's not really done it just yet, again, he's open to do anything.
Yeah, and he might be part of the gut check as well.
Which could be the case, but with this match quickly, okay, Angle had two choices. He had Garrett Bischoff, who's not really been involved in TV, or someone who's meant to be his friend, being Wes Briscoe, and he picked Garrett.
I'd rather him just have gone on his own and just done 2-on-1, to be honest, but there we go. So, the match itself happens. It goes about 5 minutes. It was decent action. Angle, I mean, he faced Armbreaker, who's got a mask on, and Angle is basically, you get to the point in the match where Angle is about to get whacked by the Aces and Eights. All of a sudden, Wes Briscoe comes out, saving the day with his random lead pipe swiping for the win.
Yeah, that's the thing, because this went a bit crazy, because Luke Gallows was a bit delayed with doing what he was doing, but Angle picking up the win. I weren't really surprised, because when it comes to Angle, the TNA are pretty good with him and that. So him against the Ace and Eights, the second show now, that he comes out on top.
And to be honest, notice how long that pin was on Armbreaker. It was like, it went about fucking like 1, 2, 3, plus the seconds before the ref didn't get in position correctly. God damn, that was a long pin. So yeah, I don't really know. Especially after what happened earlier, you had them just beat down Magnus and pretty much take him out of commission with the injury angle that they ran with him. But like, then you have Kurt Angle ending on top, so it's like, okay, you know.
It's a bit off, but again, they must have some idea of what they're going to do with Angle and the Ace and Eights. But I can't just be angry at D1 tonight, because you, Doc, had the perfect chance to take out Angle with the hammer. And all you did was pose around with it, waving in the air, they get stunk on a balloon. Well, I'm going to tell you this, Doc. Next time you have the hammer in your hand, take someone out. Prove that you're actually a part of the Ace and Eights, and don't disobey me again. Because next time, Doc, things won't end so good for you.
I don't know, but I actually really enjoyed that Eric Young segment. It was really entertaining.
Ah, it was pretty good because you don't really expect it from him, but yeah.
What was going on between Bully Ray and Brooke Hogan? I mean, what the hell's going on there? Hogan knows best, I guess.
Well, that segment blows my mind. It's like Bully Ray's getting a bit of action there, you know what I'm saying?
A bit of action, so to speak. We get this number one contendership battle royal for the number one contention for the Knockouts Championship. ODB versus Miss Teschmacher versus Mickie James versus Madison Rayne versus Gail Kim. Mickie James making a return to TV after a couple of months layout with an injury.
Yeah, with her coming out from injury, then back into this. Yes, she's gone straight into a normal contendership, but the fact that she was against numerous knockouts made it so she has to fight her way to get to where she always was, which is towards the title. And this match set everything up pretty nicely for her.
Yeah, and to be honest, after all this stuff, they had 2 knockout segments on the show, which doesn't happen very often, especially with Pritchard in charge, knowing his stance on the knockouts. After all the stuff they did with ODB and Tara, I was quite surprised, actually, that Mickie James won this, even though it's like the big comeback win. And the Tara and Mickie James feud should be pretty good, I imagine. A shame that Tara's character is, in my opinion, an all-time low, or else this feud probably would be a little bit better, in my opinion.
I still think they have bigger plans. Like, they had this whole rumour they got plans for Mickie James somewhere down the line. Hopefully this will be the kicking thing. But ODB, I've always thought she's better off as a knockout on her own. But I think they've got stupid plans for her and Eric Young and all that stupid stuff.
I hope they don't. Imagine if they defend the Knockouts Championships. What a piece of bullshit that would be. You might as well just get rid of the belts. You might as well just get rid of the belts, really. The most uncredible belt in the wrestling business right now, because they haven't been defending it in about fucking 7 months. So yeah, so Mickie James is our new number one contender. I guess we have a... Are they going to do this on Impact, or are they going to do this on pay-per-view?
They better save it for the pay-per-view. I don't like when they get rid of TV title matches on TV.
Let's pretty hope. AJ Styles speaks out next. AJ Styles is in a very low place, and he's had a very, very bad year after facing Daniels again, and again, and again. And finally, this feud has come to an end. He will not be fair... What?
Oh, surprise, surprise. AJ was cutting his promo, heartbreaking that he's not going to get the title the whole year. Out comes Daniel. I don't know why they're continuing that. And basically, Kazarian gets a bit of mic time, but then Daniels wants the match against AJ.
I picked a fucking bad time to go to the bathroom, ladies and gentlemen. So they're doing AJ versus Daniels again. Now, I'm going to promise you this. If they have this match on TV or at a pay-per-view, I am not going to watch it. I am fed up, sick to death of them doing AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. What new stuff can they do now that's not entertaining to watch anymore? Yes, they have great matches, but for God's sake, there is such thing as overkill TNA, and they said this one last time at Destination X 2011. It continued. One last time at Bound for Glory. They feuded for another fucking year, and now I'm supposed to believe this is going to be one last time. Yeah,
Kazarian made the great point by saying there's nothing to prove. More than like AJ has nothing to prove more than Daniels, because Daniels can't seem to beat AJ. But as long as they make Daniels win, then I guess it's different. But if AJ wins, it's the same mold. You're going to repeat the same thing. We could watch numerous matches from the past. It's just going to be no different unless Daniels wins.
And even if Daniels wins, the feud's going to continue. So I just... Why are they putting AJ and Daniels back in a feud? I mean, just move AJ and Daniels away from each other. There is ways you can do that, TNA. Come on. What did you think to the way Hardy and Aries are featured on TV? They weren't really featured that much after that epic ladder match. There wasn't much follow-up to it.
The backstage segment they had when he was getting massage on his poor back, and Aries had his little segment. There's teasing there's possibly still going to be something there, but not just yet. And I thought it's alright, but they've had their injuries. They're wrestling. Yeah. The following show, they'll get warmed up and better from their injury. I think they played it pretty well.
And that is something you don't see very much in wrestling now. You see guys come out like the next week after a street fight looking fine. It's nice to see TNA. You know, you could argue that they didn't get featured brilliantly, but they're injured. that ladder match was really brutal. They're selling the brutality of the match while also putting over the fact that Aries and Hardy may not be over yet.
Yeah, and this is what happened. I show you. I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. All I saw was a load of skin there. No. What do you get bruises from? Seriously, you're a bloody wrestling reviewer. And also, we get the news that the Gut Check guys are going to be involved in Open Fight Night. So that should be very interesting to see how far they've come along, doesn't it?
Because the Gut Check guys, some of them have disappeared. So to bring them back into the show would be good. Indeed. And
let me get to our main event of the evening. Open Fight Night should be pretty interesting next week. Aries is going to call someone out. So.
And then the only problem I have, Open Fight Night, then the Championship Thursday probably the week after. They're going back to that same old time wasting thing. But next week should still be interesting.
I wonder if TNA will be focusing a lot more on ratings than they have been doing a lot lately because of the decreasing ones. And I think that is a big problem they do need to address. I guess that just depends how they address it. I think one thing TNA thought they could do to draw a rating was have the main event of Lockdown and the third match on the card, essentially what should have been the semi-main event, of Bound for Glory. Bobby Roode versus James Storm. These two have faced each other twice on pay-per-view. This is, I believe, the fourth time they've done it on free TV now. I can't say I'm getting fed up of it because I'm very invested in both these characters, but, the way, this was for the number one contendership. Storm had everything to lose. We've just seen James Storm win the number one contendership at the pay-per-view, and then all of a sudden we see Bobby Roode winning the number one contendership on free TV. I'm just a bit confused.
It's a big question, because this thing probably could be a big rant discussion stuff, because last year, Roode took it away from Storm once. He's done it again a year later. It's really sad because Roode's already up there in the main event, been champion, long-term champion. Storm's held the belt, but nothing really reliable, really good for him.
2 weeks.
And now he's lost the belt again, lost the championship match again. So to be honest, Storm's not really having a strong build-up towards the main event title picture. The match at the pay-per-view is really good. Now they've taken that away and gave it back to the person who should have won at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, if you were going to have Roode win, why don't you just book him to pin AJ Styles? It would have been so much easier to do, unless they just wanted a heel to feud with Jeff Hardy, even though I think a Storm Hardy feud would have been at least semi-interesting. The match itself was pretty good. We expect that from those two. It's just, why did you change it around at the last minute? I'm a little bit unsure and confused rather than angry and ranty like I was last year about it. But, yeah, so that was the main event of the show. You have any more thoughts on that?
I'm just not happy with the fact that most of these matches came out of nowhere. Storm, Roode, again, they've had it at the pay-per-view, really great match, and they've just blown it away again, giving it to someone completely different on the following show. So, to be honest, I'm not happy with how this has turned out.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was you, you're with me on this one, but was it me, or did the TNA show feel different this week? I know it was taped, and that is probably one of the reasons, but it just seemed like the aura and the way they did the show was very different to how they'd done it before, and it seemed like they were trying to do a load of stuff in there to try and satisfy the rating, and are they going too far? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. That's all.
I'm personally not happy because the week just after the pay-per-view, they've had all this great pay-per-view. You can compliment as much as you want. And then on the following show, some of the pay-per-view they undo on this night's show or give us matches that shouldn't have happened. So I think, to be honest, this show was off for a few reasons.
This show did feel very strange. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a bad show. It just felt a little bit weird coming from a TNA show, which I've been quite behind for quite a long time. I don't know what it was. There's just something there that made me not like the show that much. I can't really put my finger on it, I'm afraid. So, leave your thoughts on this TNA Impact Wrestling show down in that comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you have done, hopefully it's under 20 minutes this time, guys. We apologise for that. Now I'm going to hand you over to NJ for the outro.
From Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.